down in Hartford. He goes into Salvation Army for treatment. Our God is awesome. I can tell you more about Salvation Army and the way they do things now than I could before Tuesday. We have met Youth Challenge men and women who've been here. We know who is in charge over there, and we could tell each other lots of good things about Youth Challenge. But how many of you heard of the Salvation Army has a rehab program? A few? Now the rest of you get to learn that Salvation Army is a godly organization that helps men and women get out of addictions, go through tests. God knows your limitations. Just like my teachers, the things they teach me, that's what they expect for me to be able to tell them back on a test. God knows your heart, and God knows how far you can go and how much you can take. It's not always easy. You know, it's always easier to be a spectator. When I see some of the things that you guys are going through, I can say, you know what, I'll pray for you. Will I? Yes. But I'm not going through the situation with you. I'm not. I'm sorry. But I will pray so that God gives you the power to endure your situation. Even if you put yourself in the middle of that situation, you still have the ability to choose life. There's always a life option. Now, I want to go to a story in the Bible found in 2 Kings chapter 6. And God gave that to me, and I was saying, God, I don't see the application here. I don't see the life choice. I don't see it. Show it to me. And I had to read the whole story. Maybe you're a lot further in your walk with the Lord than I am. And maybe since I've been talking to you, you will see the situation unravel a lot faster than I've seen. But let's go there. Let's read. Well, we're not going to read the whole story. We're going to stop at verse 17. That's when I got it. Yes, it took me 10 verses to understand what God was showing me. 2 Kings chapter 6, starting with verse number 8. It's on the screen here, and I'm going to read it right from my paper here. Now the king of Aram was at war with Israel. How many of you are at war sometimes, and the enemy is against you, right? See, I didn't get that right away. After conferring with his officers, he said, I will set up my camp in such and such a place. The man of God said word to king of Israel, beware of passing that place, because the Arameans are going down there. So the king of Israel checked on the place indicated by the man of God. Time and again, Elijah warned the king of Israel, so that he was on his guard in such places. This enraged the king of Aram, and so he summoned his officers and demanded of them, tell me, which of us is on the side of the king of Israel? Who's the traitor here? None of us, my lord the king, said one of the officers. But Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the very words you speak in your bedroom. Go find out where he is, the king ordered, so I can send men and capture him. The report came back, he is in Dothan. Then he sent horses and chariots and strong force there. They went by night and surrounded the city. When the servant of the man of God got up and went up early the next morning, an army with horses and chariots had surrounded the city. "Oh no, my lord, what shall we do?" the servant asked. And I still didn't get it, but I'm sure you guys are right on the ball. "Don't be afraid," the prophet answered. "Those who are with us." And Elijah prayed, "Open his eyes, Lord, so that he may see." Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes, and he looked, and he saw the hills full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. "Lord, open his eyes." And I want to say, "Lord, open my eyes." If we recap this story and bring it into our personal lives, whenever we hear a sermon or whenever somebody talks to you about whatever God has on their heart for you, it's a warning. The enemy has set up an entrapment for you. The enemy wants to take you down. The enemy is out to get you. Is that news to anybody? The enemy is after you. He's after me. By the way, we have water in the back. If anybody needs water, it's so good. It's nice and wet, especially when I'm speaking up here right now. But God has an Elisha in your life that will tell you, don't go here, don't do this, this is not from God. It may seem like it's from God. I believe I need to go here. Don't go there. Especially if you know your weakness. Especially if you know your weakness in a certain situation. It's an entrapment. It's an entrapment from who? From the enemy. And sometimes God speaks to you directly. Sometimes he uses Elisha. Sometimes he uses your spouse. Yes. Sometimes God speaks to your spouse. Whenever my wife tells me, I feel this, or this, my ears go and I start listening. I won't go there. I have been warned by my wife many times. I believe God is telling me that this deal or this situation is going to go this way. Have I always listened? Come on, I'm a man. I never listen. Now, I wouldn't be able to tell you if I listened, right? So, it is up to us to make that choice. Sometimes it's a stranger at work it will tell you, I don't think this is going to go the way that you're thinking. Yeah, he's a pagan, what does he know, right? But maybe God is talking to him and he's telling you something. The choice between life and death is so close sometimes that we need spiritual discernment in order to know whether we should take a left turn or a right turn. Because the turns are not 90 degrees sometimes. Sometimes they're just, 10 degrees off. They're that close. Now, the king of Aram says, who is the traitor here? Who is telling the Israelites of my plans? And sometimes the enemy is thinking, I got him under my thumb. I got you under my thumb. How come you know of my plan? You haven't read your Bible in a while. You haven't even gone to church. How come you know of this plan a plan for destruction? How come you know what I got planned for you? Who of my demons is telling you my plans? Well, the Bible tells us that we are not ignorant of his plans, right? We all know that every action has opposite reaction, yes? Equal opposite reaction. That's a common knowledge. I don't want to say common anymore, right? But you know that if you go to a bar and you take a drink and you have that weakness, if you didn't have the weakness, you wouldn't be at the bar. What's going to follow? You are going to go on a slippery slope really quickly. Okay, I know that nobody's here likes to drink. Name your poison. If you know if you're going to go to a buffet, you're going to get a plate, eat it up, then you're going to go again, have a second one. Second one is of God, okay. But you're going to go again, going to get some dessert, right? Going to go for the fourth one, because that's fruit. You need your vitamins. And then to finish out with some ice cream. Thank you, Jesus. That's of God. No. And yes, I'm talking about myself. That's my weakness. I like food. I've confessed that many, many times. And I'm trying to get rid of this weakness. That's why I don't go to buffets too much. Every so often. But my wife is a great cook, so that's like going to the buffet anyways. I need to know where I need to stop. Now, if you know you have a weakness in a certain area, and pick your own poison, the devil, the enemy, will set up an entrapment because that food looks so good. I almost fell into a trap myself this morning. I open up the smoker. Oh, that aroma. Wait till I show you the video. It's not going to play up here because I won't last, okay? but that's a temptation or a test for me personally. And I need to choose life. Because if I overeat, my days will not be long, or fruitful, or successful. Not that I need any more calories, right? But if I choose the way of life, I will know where to limit myself. Let's talk about stress. If you know that XYZ stresses you out, and stress is a killer, why do you put yourself in that situation? And some stress is okay. And we need that test. We need that temptation, right? But God will always give you a way out. You need to learn when to bail out. I need to know when to. First plate was of God. The second plate needs to be, at the best, keep away from desserts, or some of us like to have desserts first. When you're in my house, you can have the desserts first because I'm going for the meat, okay? And then the desserts. But whatever situation you find yourself in, limit yourself. Control your urges. And if somebody is getting you upset, punch him in the face. No, walk away. Choose life. I have a friend. I call them my friends. they're really good people. And this man's wife, she's very emotional. Again, I'm only telling you secondhand story. So secondhand story is always, since you're hearing, you'll be the third hand, right? They were at a party, and somebody said something about her son. Allegedly, she took some abuse from this person, but then that happened, and the police were called. Was that a life choice or a death choice? Was that a choice to prosper or a choice for destruction? We make those choices ahead of time. We, as people, we know what we're going to do in a certain situation before the situation happens. How many are still with me? You know what you're going to do if somebody says something bad about you. You know what you're going to do if somebody gives you that third plate. I know what I'm going to do. Music. You know what choice you will make. Is it going to be a choice for life and prosperity? Or is it going to be a choice